Okay, so I'm finally ready to get this YouTube channel off the ground. It's mainly going to be about politics, society, culture. Might smuggle in little sports here and there, but it's mainly going to be political. And I decided the best way to probably start this off, just to get a broad generalization of my views, where I stand on certain things, my opinions, why I believe this, why I don't. I'm gonna take the I side with .com quiz, where they go through random questions that they try to then give you a percentage of which candidate you best side with, and it'll give you guys, my viewers, a general broad understanding about where I am. Now, some of these questions, you can go into a lot more detail on the other stances here, and some of them I will, but I'm not gonna like write in my own answers. That would be kind of just take way too long. And so let's get started. Should the government increase or decrease military spending? Let's look at the other stances here. I'm gonna say neither. Just because if we decrease it, what are we getting from the decreased spending? Are we putting it somewhere else? What are we doing with it? Are we just not spending it? Like, what's happening with the money that we're taking away from military spending? If you tell me that we're going to take away money from military spending and we're going to put it in other aspects of our economy, then I would change it to decrease. How important is this to me? I'm going to say it's... Oh, you can't... Okay. Somewhat. Yeah, I'm going to say it's somewhat important. Should the U.S. accept refugees from Syria? Yeah, we should. Let's see other stances. I'm going to say yes, but only after extensive background checks, continuous monitoring, so forth. Not to see that they're terrorists, just to make sure, we're getting people we want in here. Yeah, so I'm going to go yes here. This is not very important to me, though, so I'm going to go less. Should foreign terrorism suspects be given constitutional rights? This is an interesting one here. I'm going to say no. They're not U.S. citizens. They don't have constitutional rights. No. I mean, we definitely should still treat them humanely and, give them a trial and all that, but they shouldn't be given all the same constitutional rights as citizens get. How important is this? I'm going to say it's less important, though. Okay. So we can see more foreign policy questions. Let's do that here. Should the military be allowed to use enhanced interrogation techniques such as waterboarding to gain information from suspect terrorists? I'm going to say no, just because there's multiple studies revealing that this doesn't really work. Regardless, how important is this to me? I'm going to say it's somewhat important. Should every 18-year-old citizen be required to provide at least 1 year of military service? No. That's pretty important. We should not be doing that. No. Should the U.S. remain in the United Nations? Yes, this is clearly yes. And this is important for sure. Let's look for more foreign policy questions here. Should the U.S. continue its support of Israel? Obviously, this is a yes. I'm going to say that this is pretty damn important. Should the U.S. increase or decrease foreign aid spending? Let's open other stances here. You know what? I'm not really sure I know much about foreign aid spending and how it's spent, where it goes, and the rules behind it. So I'll just go with increase, but only for countries that have no human rights violations. Let's keep going down here. Do you support President Obama's move to lift the trade and travel embargo on Cuba? I do, yes. It's less important to me, though. More foreign policy questions. Do you support the killing of Iranian Major General Soleimani? I do, yes. I'm going to say it's somewhat important. If I can click it. There we go. Should the military fly drones over foreign countries to gain intelligence and kill suspected terrorists? Let's look at other stands here. Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go yes, but only with permission from the country in question. But this is least important to me, really, though. Yes. We'll go somewhat. Let's move on. That's quite a bit of foreign policy questions. So we got electoral issues. Should the electoral college be abolished? Other stance. Yes, and switch to a ranked voters. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes on, but only if we switch to a ranked choice voting. If you're not sure what ranked choice voting is, just give it a quick Google. I'm gonna say that this is pretty important. Should photo ID be required to vote? No, right? Because we already go through the process of giving photo ID and identification when we get our voter registration card. You shouldn't be required to then show photo ID again when you go to vote. I'm going to say that this is somewhat important. Should foreigners currently residing in the United States have the right to vote? This is a tough one, right? I'm going to say yeah, I mean, I guess you got to say no, right? Only legal citizens should be allowed to vote. But at the same time, if they're living here permanently, a lot of these decisions, you got to go no. This is least important to me, though. Let's do another round of electoral questions. Should political candidates be required to release their recent tax returns to the public? Yes. This is pretty important. Should there be a limit to the amount of money a candidate can receive from a donor? From each individual donor? Yes. I mean, yeah. Because then you could just find a handful of just really wealthy donors and fund your entire campaign, and you'd be beholden to just maybe, select few people. I'm going to say this is pretty important. Should the minimum voting age be lowered? Hell no. Half the country over the age of 18 has no idea who they're voting for. You want to lower it? What the hell? That's important. That should be enough of those. Let's move on to education here. Should the federal government pay for tuition for 4 years colleges and universities? Man, this is a tough one. I'm gonna say yes, but partial tuition, not the full thing. This is less important to me. Do I support increasing taxes on the rich? No. I'm not sure how that would even work. This is not really important to me. Should the federal government fund universal preschool? Man, I don't really know much about this here. I'm gonna say, yes, as long as parents have the option to send their kids to private school. You gotta, but this is least important to me. Let's move on to immigration issues. Should the U.S. build a wall? No, this is just a absolutely dumb, stupid thing to be doing. This is somewhat important because it's just a complete waste of goddamn money. Should illegal immigrants have access to government subsidized health care? No, but they already do. You know, if you're an illegal immigrant and you get hurt here in the States and you're taken to the hospital, you get treated, but you're not, you know, they may not have the means of paying for it. So they kind of already do. So we're going to say yes, because it's already happening. So wouldn't we want them contributing in some way? Should illegal immigrants be offered in-state tuition rates at public colleges with their residing state? No, I'm going to go no on that one. This is somewhat important. This is less important. Let's keep going here. I'll do one more round of immigrants. Should local law enforcement be allowed to detain illegal immigrants for minor crimes and transfer them to federal immigration authorities? Yeah, I mean, if you're committing crimes, you should be able to be detained. I mean, let's look at just other stances. Yeah. This is less important now. Should children of illegal immigrants be granted legal citizenship? Yeah, if they were born here. I mean, that's how it is in this country, and that's how it should be. I'm going to say somewhat. Should Muslim immigrants be banned from entering the country until the government provides its ability? No, we don't have religious tests in this country. This is just dumb. This is so somewhat, yeah. Transportation issues. Should the government increase spending on public transportation? For sure. I mean, let's look at the other stances. Yeah, we'll go with yes. Government-friendly solutions for sure. Science issues. Do you support the use of nuclear energy? I do, yes. Yes. It's basically zero greenhouse emissions. It's a great bridge that will help us get to more renewables. So, yeah. Should the government require children to be vaccinated? Yes. Let's look at the other stances first, though. No, just yes. These other ones are dumb. Should producers be required to label genetically engineered foods? I'm going to say yes, but people flip out about GMOs and like just have no idea. Like, you think watermelons are naturally growing with no seeds? Broccoli itself is a genetically modified vegetable. It doesn't actually grow naturally in the wild. We humans crossbred cabbage, I think, and something else to create it. So there are just GMO conspiracy theories out there that are just wacky. But it should be labeled for sure. Continue here. Let's do some more science questions. Should the government fund space travel? I'm going to say yeah, definitely. I mean, for sure. Go back. I got to do some of these. This is somewhat important. This is least important. This is most important, actually. Do you support nuclear energy? Yes, this is most important. I'm going to say yes, this is somewhat. All right, we're caught up. This is important for sure. National security issues. Should the president be able to authorize military force against Al Qaeda with congressional? Man, I'm gonna say yes, because when you're dealing with terrorism and you're dealing with terrorists and you're not actually fighting a country with an army, you got to move real quick. I mean, the target and whatever you're doing, and the intelligence you're gathering could be just useless, in 24, 48 hours. And that might be not enough time to get a congressional approval. I mean, it's got to be, yeah. I'm going to say, but this is somewhat important. Should the U.S. assassinate suspected terrorists in foreign countries? Well, I mean, no. I mean, you shouldn't be a suspected terrorist. I mean, we have to know that they are a terrorist before we go around killing them, right? So they wouldn't be suspected terrorists if there was undeniable evidence. This doesn't make any sense. But yeah, okay. And then we'll go more. Should there be more restrictions on the current process of purchasing a gun? Yes, this is obvious. Most. Should teachers be allowed to carry guns in school? No, this is just asinine. No. This is somewhat important. Do you support the impeachment of President Donald Trump? Yeah, obviously, he committed impeachable offenses. There are multiple Republicans on the Senate floor who said that the House and Schiff had proven their case, but they still didn't have the courage to do the right thing. So yeah, this is definitely important. It's more important. Do another round of domestic. Should victims of gun violence be allowed to sue firearm dealers and manufacturers? This is a interesting one. I think this one way of really holding the gun makers kind of like to the, it definitely is could become a problem for them, something that that would actually hurt them and make them think twice. I'm going to say yes. But this is, least important. Are you in favor of decriminalizing drug use? Yes, but for most, not all drugs. This is somewhat important. Do you support affirmative action programs? No, because I don't think this has actually been a net benefit for the people it's trying to help. So I'm going to say no, but this is less important. Social issues. Should the government continue to fund Planned Parenthood? Yeah. I'm going to say that this is more important. What is your stance on abortion? Pro-choice. I don't agree with the government has the right to spend it. pro-choice but banned after the first 3 months. I'm pro-choice, but I recognize that there's some point along the pregnancy where the morality of it definitely comes into question. But I'm definitely firmly pro-choice. This is important. Do you support the legalization of same-sex marriage? Yes, that's just a no-brainer. Do some more social questions. Should health insurance providers be required to offer free birth control? No, I don't think it should be free. I don't think they should be required. But this is like least important. Should gender identity be added to the anti-discrimination laws? Other stances. This really just depends on like what we mean by what can be labeled as some sort of discrimination based on someone's gender identity. This is a deep, like very nuanced question, really. So I'm just gonna go here. It's not really important to me either. Should a business be able to deny service to a customer if the request conflicts with the owner's religious beliefs? I'm going to say no. This is just no. This is somewhat important. That should be enough social questions. Healthcare. Do you support the patient protection for care? I do, but it didn't go far enough. Should the federal government increase funding of healthcare for low-income individuals? Yes. This is important. Do you support a single-player healthcare system? I do, but with certain caveats. I would say yes, but allow people to still purchase added private health insurance if they want. So yeah, this is somewhat important. Let's move on. Should convicted criminals have the right to vote? Yeah, obviously. They've served their time. They've repaid their debts to society. They should be fully implemented back into society. So yeah, this is I'm going to say more important. Do you support mandatory minimum prison sentence for people charged with drug possession? I'm not a big fan of mandatory minimum prison sentences in general. So I'm going to say no. This is less important. No. Should drug traffickers receive the death penalty? No, I don't believe in the death penalty at all. So no, this is somewhat important. Let's do some more criminal. Should nonviolent prisoners be released from jail in order to reduce overcrowding? It really just depends on what, even if it was nonviolent, on what the crime was, how many crimes they committed. I mean, this is so silly. We're going to go here because that's just blah. Should prisons ban the use of solitary confinement for juveniles? Man, that's a harsh penalty for a juvenile. Let's look at other stances. I'm going to say yes. Should police officers be required? Yes. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. That should be enough. Criminal questions. Let's move on to economic issues. Should the U.S. raise taxes on the rich? Yes, and raise taxes on all income brackets. I'm going to say yes, we should. We should have a higher progressive income tax. This is more important. Should the government raise the federal minimum wage? Yeah, I don't think they should. The government should raise the federal minimum wage because there are certain counties, there are certain cities where, for instance, $15 is suffice, and certain places where it's still not a living wage. And then there's certain places where it could, actually hurt the businesses, and is, above the means of what is needed as the minimum wage. So I would just say make it I would say yes, just because the government should be, I guess what they could do is mandate that the states figure out what their state or county or city minimum wage should be. So we'll just go yes, make it a living wage. This is this is pretty important. Should welfare recipients be drug tested? No. This is silly. I mean, a lot of welfare recipients have to be actively looking for jobs or have a job, so that probably means that they were drug tested if they have a job to begin with. And honestly, most jobs don't even do drug tests in general anymore. So I'm going to say no, but this is at least do some more. Should the U.S. raise or lower the tax rate for corporations? Remove taxes on corporations and tax shareholder dividends instead. Maintain the current rate. Keep current rates but eliminate deductions and loopholes. I'm going to say it should be raised. This one's not bad. Increase for large multinational corporations but lower for small businesses. Should employers be required to pay men and women the same salary for the same job? Yes, if they do the same job and they both do it to they both have the same abilities and they're both doing the job as effectively as the other. But that's not really stated here, so I don't feel like adding mine, so. Do you support a universal basic income program? I do. Andrew Yang was ahead of the curve on this. I do believe at some point in the near future, as technology increases and more jobs are just gone and lost to automation, this will be a whole lot of a bigger issue. Let's move on. Environmental. Should the government increase environmental regulations to prevent climate change? Yes. Should the U.S. withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement? No. It just sends a terrible signal. This is more important. Should disposable products such as plastic cup plates currently contain? Ooh, I like that. No, but increase tax incentives for companies that make biodegradable. That's a good one. I like that one. No. Let's do some more environmental. Should the U.S. expand offshore drilling? No. We should not be doing that. No, but we can definitely maintain the way it is now until we get to where we need to be with renewables. This is somewhat. Do you support the use of hydraulic fracking to extract oil? I don't know. Let's look at the other ones, though. This is important. Should the government stop construction of Dakota Access Pipeline? I don't know much about this at all. Didn't really keep up with this whole situation. Not a big fan of eminent domain in general. I'll go yes. But again, not really sure I know that one. Oh, now we got local issues. I like it. The 2020 Florida District 14 House of Representatives were held today. Which I'm not sure. I haven't done my research on this one. Presidential election were held today. Which potential candidate? This is stupid, right? So you pick a candidate, and then they're obviously going to tailor this whole quiz towards whichever candidate you pick here. Can you pick multiple? No. This is stupid. Can you leave them blank? Oh my god. Just leave it blank. I'm not going to give this algorithm a heads up on who I'm voting for. Make this testing a whole lot easier for him. Which qualities are most important to you in a candidate? Ooh. Morality. Communication's huge. Leadership. Integrity and honesty. Vision for sure. Intelligence, effectiveness. I mean, all of them, honestly. But those are the most important to me. What is another question you like? Okay, so let's see what we got. Man, what's up with the internet? Ooh. Okay. No thanks. Ooh, Pete Buttigieg. 89%. Amy Klobuchar. And Tom Steyer. Joe Biden. Interesting. So that's where, and then you see the Mango Menace all the way down here at 28%. I would say makes some sense. Not that I'm a big fan of Buttigieg. He seems like just a robot, empty suit to me, but nevertheless, if he ends up winning the nomination, I will vote for him and be very, very happy I did. And then I do like Amy quite a bit. So yeah, that should be a good little exercise in letting you guys know my take on quite a few issues and where I stand on some of the most important topics of today.